Hello, audience and sustainability aspirants. Welcome to this learning episode 1 on understanding BRSR India's ESG reporting. In today's episode, we will focus on providing a conceptual foundation on understanding what BRSR really is and why it was introduced in India, how it acts as a backbone of ESG reporting. Taking this decision forward, I welcome my AI co host expert to take this learning experience and set the tone for our audience. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi, and hello, everyone. I'm really excited to dive into this topic with all of you. As Dr. Ravi mentioned, today is all about laying down that conceptual foundation, understanding what BRSR is, why it's so important in the Indian ESG landscape, and how it serves as that backbone for reporting. So let's get started and make this a really insightful conversation.
Okay, let's open the discussion for audience who are new to this domain. For them, I would like you to ask what exactly is BRSR and how would you explain it to someone new to ESG?
Absolutely. Let's break it down. So BRSR stands for Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting. Essentially, it's India's structured framework for how companies disclose their environmental, social, and governance practices. If someone's new to ESG, you can think of BRSR as a kind of blueprint that Indian companies use to share their sustainability story in a consistent and standardized way. It was introduced to ensure that there's more transparency and accountability in how businesses report their ESG efforts, making it easier for everyone, whether they're investors, consumers, or regulators, to understand what companies are doing on the sustainability front.
Oh, it's a great introduction. You have set the tone. Can we go with the next round of questions?
Absolutely. Let's keep the momentum going. I'm ready for the next round of questions whenever you are, Dr. Ravi.
Yeah, thank you. So next question about BRSR and its conceptual foundation is that why did SEBI feel the need to move from BRR to BRSR?
That's a really insightful question. So the shift from BRR, which was the business responsibility report, to BRSR really came down to the need for a more comprehensive and standardized approach. SEBI recognized that while BRR was a good starting point, it didn't quite capture the full scope of ESG considerations the stakeholders were increasingly expecting. With global trends pushing for more details and reliable ESG disclosures, SEBI felt it was time to evolve and create a framework that would align India more closely with international standards. So in essence, BRSR was introduced to provide a clearer, more robust and more future-proof way of reporting on sustainability, ensuring that Indian companies can meet both local and global expectations.
So could you elaborate that what are the key basic difference between BRR and BRSR? Just in short for our audience.
Of course, I'd be happy to. In short, the key difference is that BRR, or the Business Responsibility Report, was more of a preliminary framework, focused on basic disclosures around responsible business conduct. BRSR, on the other hand, is a much more comprehensive and detailed framework. It not only covers a wider range of ESG aspects, but also standardizes the way companies report their sustainability information. Essentially, BRSR is a more evolved, detailed, and structured version that aligns more closely with international standards, making it easier for stakeholders to assess and compare ESG performance.
Yeah, sounds great. That BRSR is more evolved, detailed, and structured version that aligns more closely with international standards. Definitely, it's important and it will provide a structural lens of ESG for India, I'm sure. What your take on this?
I completely agree. It's definitely a big step forward. Having a structured lens like BRSR mean that Indian companies can really align themselves more closely with global ESG expectations. It not only helps with transparency and comparability, but also encourages companies to embed sustainability into their core strategies. So in the long run, it's not just about compliance, it's about fostering a more sustainable business environment in India. So yeah, it's definitely a positive and important development.
Great. So we will move to next question, which is who is mandatorily required to comply with BRSR today? Is there any mandate for specific companies?
Absolutely. Let's dive into that. As of now, the mandate for BRSR compliance primarily applies to the top listed companies in India. Specifically, SEBI has made it mandatory for the top 1,000 listed entities by market capitalization to file BRSR as part of their annual reporting. This requirement is intended to ensure that the largest and most influential companies lead the way in sustainability reporting. For other companies, it's kind of more of a best practice or a voluntary move,
Yes.
but there's a growing trend of more businesses adopting it to stay ahead of the curve. So in summary, the mandatory compliance right now is focused on those top 1,000 listed companies.
Okay, so it is mandatory compliance right now, focusing on top 1000 listed companies. Perfect, perfect. You set the tone. So, how should the beginners mentally position BRSR, compliance, strategy, or transformation?
That's a great question, and it's really at the heart of how companies should think about BRSR. For beginners, it's helpful to see BRSR not just as a compliance checklist, but as a strategic tool and a pathway to transformation. While compliance is the starting point, because you have to meet regulatory requirements, there's a lot more value when you use BRSR as a strategic framework to integrate ESG into your business decisions. And over time, that can lead to real transformation in how a company operates and creates long-term value. So in a nutshell, it starts as compliance, but the real opportunity is to view it as a strategic and transformative journey.
Yes. So, perfect, perfect. So basically, it starts as a compliance, but new companies should focus on beyond 1000 company. If they focus on BRSR, it will be very beneficial for them in a long run. That is what I you supposed to convey. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You got it spot on. It really is about seeing BRSR as more than just a compliance exercise. Even companies that aren't in that top 1,000 can benefit from adopting it voluntarily. It gives them a head start on integrating ESG into their business strategy and helps them build a more sustainable and resilient operation over the long run. So yeah, that's exactly the message. Start with compliance, but aim for that strategic and long-term perspective.
Yeah, great. Moving to next, I want to ask you that what misconceptions do companies often have about BRSR? Your point on this?
Absolutely. That's a great question. One common misconception is that companies often see BRSR purely as a box ticking exercise, just another form to fill out to meet regulatory requirements. But in reality, it's much more than that. Another misconception is that some businesses think BRSR is only relevant for large corporations and doesn't apply to smaller or medium sized enterprises. While it may not be mandatory for them, the principles and benefits of BRSR can still be very relevant. Lastly, there's sometimes a belief that BRSR is just about showing good news or positive impact, when in fact, it's also about being transparent about challenges and areas for improvement. So ensure the key is to see BRSR as a meaningful framework that goes beyond mere compliance and really drives genuine sustainability efforts.
Perfect. Moving to next in market, especially in the sustainability domain, I would say if I say the sustainability market, especially the reporting practices that are there are a lot of reporting frameworks like GRI or SASB. Now, how does the BRSR differ from other global ESG reporting frameworks like GRI or SASB? Maybe you can throw some light on this.
Absolutely. Happy to explain that. So the BRSR is essentially India's tailored approach to ESG reporting, while frameworks like GRI or SASB are more global in scope. One of the key differences is that BRSR is specifically aligned with the Indian regulatory requirements and the local business environment. It incorporates elements from global standards, but it's designed to meet the specific needs and expectations of Indian stakeholders. For example, while GRI is a very broad and internationally recognized framework that can be used by companies all over the world, BRSR is more prescriptive in certain areas that are particularly relevant to India's regulatory landscape and the national guidelines for responsible business conduct. SASB, on the other hand, is more focused on financial materiality and is often used in markets like the US. So in short, BRSR differentiates itself by being India-specific, while still drawing on the best practices of global frameworks, making it a kind of localized version of ESG reporting.
Okay, so we have set the tone that what actually BRSR is and how and why it is important and how it is different from the globally practices. Correct? Now, my question to you is that what kind of information do companies actually need to disclose under the BRSR guidelines, and why is this important for investors?
Absolutely, and that's a crucial aspect. Under the BRSR guidelines, companies need to disclose a range of information across environmental, social, and governance areas. This includes details like their greenhouse gas emissions, energy consumption, waste management practices, as well as social aspects like employee well-being, diversity, and community initiatives. On the governance side, they report on board composition, business ethics, and risk management processes. This information is really important for investors because it gives them a clearer picture of how the company is managing sustainability related risks and opportunities. It helps them just as make more informed decisions by understanding not just the financial performance, but also the long term sustainability and resilience of the company. In other words, BRSR disclosures provide a more holistic view that goes beyond traditional financial metrics.
Could you elaborate more on why it is important for investors? How the disclosures or reporting will help investors to take a wise decision, and in what conditions it will be a beneficial for both investors as well as the company or organization who is into reporting practice.
Absolutely. Let's dig into that a bit more. For investors, these disclosures are crucial because they offer a window into the company's long term sustainability and resilience. When companies are transparent about their ESG practices, investors can better assess potential risks, like regulatory changes, environmental liabilities, or social issues that could impact the company's financial performance down the line. It also helps investors identify companies that are proactively managing these risks and capitalizing on sustainability opportunities, which can be a sign of good management and future growth potential. Companies providing this level of transparency can build trust with investors and other stakeholders. It shows that the company is committed to sustainable practices and is thinking long term, which can attract more responsible investment and potentially lead to better valuations. In the end, it's a win-win. Investors get the insights they need to make wiser decisions, and companies benefit from stronger investor confidence and alignment with sustainability goals.
So it's a win-win situation for both, right? Correctly. So we earlier I asked you about the disclosure information. So this disclosure information, can we consider it as indicators or indicators of performance under ES and G, different disclosure metrics that we talked about? Can we consider it as a indicators?
Yes, exactly. And those disclosures do function as indicators of performance. Each piece of information that a company reports, whether it's related to environmental impact, social practices, or governance policies, acts as a key indicator of how well the company is managing its ESG responsibilities. So you can definitely think of them as performance indicators that help paint a picture of the company's overall sustainability profile. And that's why they're so valuable, because they provide measurable insights that both companies and investors can use to track progress and make informed decisions.
Thank you for clarifying. Now we will move to the next portion. Can you share some examples of how BRSR compliance has impacted Indian companies so far?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to share a few examples. So, some Indian companies that have adopted BRSR have really seen positive impacts in a few different ways. For example, some companies have found that by improving their ESG disclosures under BRSR, they've been able to attract more interest from institutional investors who are looking for companies with strong sustainability credentials. That can lead to better access to capital and even potentially lower borrowing costs. Another example is that companies have used the BRSR framework to identify areas where they can improve efficiency and reduce costs, like energy usage or waste management, which not only benefits the environment but also the bottom line. And finally, by being more transparent about their sustainability practices, some companies have seen a boost in their reputation and brand value, which can be a competitive advantage in the marketplace. So overall, BRSR compliance has helped companies become more sustainable, more attractive to investors, and more competitive.
Perfectly. So, with this, you have set the tone for our upcoming sessions. Now, we have come to the end of this discussion, and my last question for this discussion for today's episode is looking ahead, how do you think BRSR reporting will evolve? And what trends should we watch out for in the ESG space overall?
That's a great closing question. Looking ahead, I think BRSR reporting is likely to become even more refined and integrated into business strategy. We'll probably see even more emphasis on not just disclosure, but on the quality and reliability of the data being reported, as well as more alignment with global standards. In terms of trends, we can expect to see a greater focus on things like climate risk reporting, supply chain sustainability, and social equity issues. As the ESG space evolves, we might also see more use of technology and data analytics to improve reporting accuracy and transparency. Overall, BRSR will likely keep evolving to become an even more integral part of how companies in India approach sustainability and responsible business.
Perfectly summed up the session. Okay, with this, we came to the end of this episode. Let me summarize today's session for the audience before we close formally. So, in this inaugural episode of EcoBriefs Dialogues, conversations with my AI co host, we lay the foundation for understanding business responsibility and sustainability reporting, BRSR, in the Indian context. The discussion that we had reveals what BRSR truly represents and why it was introduced by SEBI and how it functions as India's structured framework for environment, social, and governance called as ESG disclosures. Rather than viewing BRSR as a standalone compliance requirement, this episode explores its broader role in improving transparency, accountability, and responsible business conduct. I am sure audience, listeners, and sustainability enthusiasts will gain clarity on how BRSR aligns globally with the ESG principles and within the Indian regulatory realities. Why it matters to companies, investors, professionals, and students alike, and how it marks a shift from voluntary responsibility to performance based sustainability reporting. This episode sets the conceptual base for the entire series and helps viewers understand why BRSR is often described as the backbone of ESG reporting in India. In the next episode, that is episode number 2, we are going to cover evolution of sustainability reporting in India with my co-host AI. So I request all the learners and audience to stay tuned to our channel and subscribe to EcoBrief Academy by Dr. Ravi Sharma for getting real-time updates and knowledge with you all. I thank my AI co-host, sustainability trained expert. Any comment from your side regarding our initiative by EcoBrief Academy and especially EcoBrief Dialogue conversations that we have started? Any comments from your side on this before we close formally?
Absolutely, Dr. Ravi, and thank you for that wonderful summary. I just want to say that it's truly exciting to be part of this initiative with EcoBriefs Academy. This series is a fantastic way to bring ESG and BRSR concepts to life in a conversational, accessible, and practical way. It's a great platform for learners, professionals, and anyone interested in sustainability to deepen their understanding and stay informed. So just encourage everyone to stay tuned, keep learning, and join us for the upcoming episodes. Thanks again for having me, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation.
So, thank you. With this, we come to the end of our today's episode. As we have said that soon we will explore more concepts and details as we move. This series on BRSR framework and reporting framework in Indian context will have around 18 to 20 episodes, and each episodes will cover and explore the concepts in its unique way through my trained AI co-host, whom I have named as Sustaino. And with the Sustaino, we will explore and we will learn together the sustainability concepts and different BRSR concepts related to our which will help you in building a career perspective and knowledge gaining insights from this topic. With this, we will end our today's episode. Stay tuned, stay updated. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Thank you very much.